Hey everyone, it's Tilly and I'm back with another video, and tomorrow I'm gonna be 15, so today is my last day as a 14-year-old. And since I've told you about my back hearing and me being an August birthday in some of my past videos, I'm just going to do like a whole hell backstory, and yeah. Before I get into the video, those of you who get annoyed that I go on about this too much, sorry, it's just everyone has something that they're not so confident about, and that's just one of like my invisible scars that I'm not particularly proud of. So if you don't want to hear any more held back stuff, maybe it's best if you didn't watch this video. So basically it like started when I was about 4 years old, because it was around 2007 I got diagnosed to be on the autism spectrum, and I actually didn't do the reception stage. Like, that year would have started in 2007, but I did not do that year because my mum said I wasn't ready until now. So yes, instead of going to the primary school I went to, for a year I went to a pre-prep, which was like a nursery, and that's when they figured out that I could be on the autism spectrum, and that's when my parents got me tested, and that's where I got diagnosed. Yes, I had a few ups and downs at the pre-prep nursery, but I had a really good time there, and I had no idea that I was going to be leaving by the next year, because obviously I was 4 years old. So yeah, I had no idea that I had to leave all of that behind by next year. I also remember my mum telling me that she didn't know if I was going to stay there for another year as well, because the work was going to get harder the moment you left the pre-prep. So that's when I started my primary school in September 2008. So I would have just turned 5. And even then, I still wasn't ready, but my mum obviously knew I had to start school at some point, so it had to be that year. It wasn't so easy at the beginning, but then when it got later throughout the year, I made lots of good friends in the year I'm in now and the year I was in, like, because I was in a classroom where it was 2 years, so there was reception and year 1 put together, but I was in year 1, and I'm now currently in the year group where those kids were in reception when I was year 1, so yeah, around the time I was actually in the year 1 bit. Yeah, so that year went okay, and then when I was about to go into year 2, that's when it got a bit, not as good as the last year. So, like, fast forward to September 2009, I am 6 years old, and things are not going well in this class, because even though I did make a few more new friends, because this time it wasn't in like a 2-year group class, this was just like all of year 2. Like me making friends in that class was a good thing, but I didn't actually enjoy that year. That probably had to be my worst year at primary school, my first year of year 2. I was struggling with the work, I got sent out of class lots, and people who are watching who was actually in that class might remember me like being a naughty child, even though that it's just symptoms of autism. They're not being naughty, it's just their behaviours because people aren't understanding them right. So yes, I had teachers that really didn't understand me, so they took me as a naughty child, and yes. So particularly what happened was, whenever there was a teacher who didn't really understand me on that day, I got sent into another classroom for the morning, and then I went back in the afternoon when our normal teacher was back. Then in July 2010, I just remember like we were lining up for assembly or something, and I remember I was just like right outside our classroom, and I remember like my classroom TA was like just like my teacher on my own, because people with needs normally get like their own teacher for like support because they can't really do it without them. So yeah, she just came up to me saying, Tilly, for next year you're going to be with people from the classes below. But I sort of didn't really get that. I thought it was actually the classroom they were in now, and I really didn't understand because I was 6 years old, so I really didn't get it. So yeah, I actually thought I was getting moved down a few classes, but I didn't particularly understand that I was being held back a year. And when summer holidays came and I was turning 7, I remember like me and my brother just talking about what classrooms we were going to, and he was like, "Tilly, you're not going into that class, you're staying in your class." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I asked my mum, and then she was like, "Yeah, you're staying in that class." But I was like literally like really confused because that year I had no idea where I was going by September, because I didn't understand what everyone was doing, because I knew I wasn't gonna go to the year 3 class or the year 3 and 4 class, because you know, like there was always the one with the 2-year groups in like half and half. So, but I definitely know I wasn't going to one of those classes. Then go fast forward to September 2010. Me and my mum go walking down to the same year 1 and 2 playground so that year was actually my 3rd year in that playground, even though you only get 2 years. So instead I got 3 years in that playground. And there was my TA, and she said like lots of names from the year below and whose class I was gonna be in. And then the moment I got in, I was like, wait, why am I with the people from the year below? And I was just plain confused. And I even had people asking me, like, how is Tilly with us? And I just remember that. And even like all day at lunchtimes, people were just saying, "Tilly, why are you still in that class? Tilly, why blah blah blah?" And I remember some people were saying, "Oh, Tilly is still in that class because of the way she behaved." And I thought it kind of was that, because I didn't know I had autism around the time. So yeah, I just saw it that apparently I was naughty and yeah, that kind of stuff, even though, just to let you know, it was not the reason why I got held back. The reason I got held back was because I was really struggling with the work, especially since I was actually one of the youngest, so I'm not the very youngest, so I'm still older than a few of them, but not many of them. So yeah, pretty much I'm not in that year group anymore. I'm still currently in the year below. And even though I just go on about it over and over again, I just sometimes need to just let it out to people so they understand. So I'm not trying to hate on anyone in this video, just because I remember like people just asking me non-stop, and some people may have not gotten the complete answers. So I just wanted to make sure now that people understood, because being held back was not because of my behaviour and way I acted in the class. That was actually people just misunderstanding me. So actually my behaviour had nothing to do with me being held back. So yes. So I hope you all understand now, and yeah, just bye. Yes, last video of me as a 14-year-old. Bye.